Hello and welcome to a video that will demonstrate configuring the Pro Tools I/O for working in stereo in hybrid mix techniques. So we have opened up the first project here. It's called Pepsi. It's a commercial. And we're going to go right up to setup and go to I/O. And you may see nothing here in the I/O when you sign in, or you may see a bunch of stuff. Either way, you kind of want to start fresh. If you're loading a project that you're already working on, you do not want to delete things. But if you're starting fresh, you definitely want to delete everything and reset it. It's important for you to learn how to use the I/O. And the first thing you want to do is delete stuff that has nothing to do with your song. So how do I do this? Well, you can select individual paths here on individual tabs and hit the delete path button. This will take you forever, so it's better to select all. I'm going to do that by clicking on one of them and holding the shift key down on the keyboard, and this will select all of them. And I can hit the delete path button, or I can hit delete on the keyboard, which deletes them all at once. Kind of ignore that. And you're going to want to work through the tab and repeat this process. There are other ways to do this. You can hold Option down and click on one, it will select all, and then you can hit the delete key. And the last way you can do it is if we had some, we don't have any inserts here, but if we did, I could select one and use the select all. So select all or Option tab or click on one with shift, they all work the same, and hit delete path. Okay, cool. So I've deleted these first 4 tabs. Now I want to create I/O that was going to work with this computer for this project. Before I do it, I want to make sure I'm in stereo, because you're going to be mixing between stereo and 5.1 on in this class. So down here under default format, we're going to go down to the output tab, select stereo, and just confirm here that the path order is the first one that's there, left, right. And you should be good. Now you can start creating your I/O. So we'll create some default inputs, and we'll create some default buses and default inserts, which you will be using later in this semester. And I did the output tab last because I wanted to make a point here. Hit default, and you should see what I'm seeing here, which is A1 through 16, which corresponds to the HDIO interface, which is in the lab. If you do not see this, if you see something that says maybe built-in output, or you only see 2 channels here, you have a problem and you're not talking to the Pro Tools interface. And if that happens, it is time to do a little bit of troubleshooting. I'm going to hit OK here. And you do that troubleshooting by going Setup, Playback Engine, and confirm that it is set to HD Native Thunderbolt. If it is not set to HD Native Thunderbolt, you have a problem. And restarting the computer and the Pro Tools hardware is a necessary step at this moment. So usually just rebooting the computer will find the HD Native Thunderbolt if it doesn't reach out to somebody. But anyway, going back to our I/O, we're all good here. We have defaulted everything. And I want to add something here that's kind of secondary to all this. I'm going to work on this project. It's going to have I/O, blah, blah, blah. You may open up another song, or you may open up somebody else's project, or somebody else might use the computer. And what happens with Pro Tools is it starts intermixing the I/O. Parts of these tabs will remain across projects, and this can be a problem because you can start losing your names in your particular I/O. So when you open a project, I'm going to close this. I'm going to open up a student project here in the background. If I open up a project here, and it's going to pop up and give me a little warning sign that the I/O is not compatible. And it's not telling you this very clearly, but the fact that this popped up is a warning sign to me that says, hey, the I/O of the file I just opened is different than the I/O on the computer. And so if you hit this Open I/O Setup button, it'll bring you right to I/O before you open the project, and you can see the I/O is a little bit different than I just created. And so if you have this Apply to All Tabs button pressed, and I hit Restore to Session, it will restore the I/O that's in the session I'm opening, right? This is wiping over the I/O that's left on the computer from the previous session. You want to load the I/O that is in the file. I'm going to hit Cancel because there's 2 ways to do this. This is the new session, and I'm going to open up I/O, and I can do it here as well. And if this is not grayed out, this means that the I/O in the session right now is not, that you're currently looking at, is not the I/O that's stored in the file. So I pretty much, every time I open up sessions, I go into this window and I hit Restore from Session. And now the I/O is correct, and now that button is no longer pressable. So whenever I open files, I do go in here and I hit Restore from Session. This ensures compatibility across all my sessions that I'm actually using the I/O stored with the file. I hope this helps. Okay? Have a great day. Bye-bye.